She lost everything. Breaking news. Becky Lynch set to relinquish the title after horrible injury sustained yesterday. This is not a drill. This is not clickbait. Becky Lynch, the man, the heart and soul of WWE's women's division, the woman who carried this company on her back for years, is being forced to relinquish her championship after suffering a devastating injury yesterday. And the worst part? This could have been prevented. WWE's negligence, their reckless booking, their obsession with dangerous spots has now cost us one of the greatest champions in WWE history. I am furious, and by the end of this video, you will be too. If you're as heartbroken and angry as I am right now, hit that like button and drop a comment telling WWE exactly how you feel. Let's get into this absolute nightmare. Yesterday, during a non-televised live event in Louisville, Kentucky, Becky Lynch was defending her Women's World Championship against Tiffany Stratton in what was supposed to be a routine house show match. But it turned into an absolute disaster. According to multiple reports from fans who were in attendance, Becky was executing a standard shoulder tackle when Tiffany moved at the wrong time, and Becky's shoulder collided with the ring post at full speed. The sound, according to eyewitnesses, was sickening. Becky immediately grabbed her shoulder and rolled out of the ring, and you could see the agony on her face even from the cheap seats. The referee threw up the X symbol immediately. That's the universal sign in wrestling that someone is legitimately injured, not playing around for storyline purposes. Medical personnel rushed to ringside within seconds, and the match was stopped immediately. Tiffany Stratton looked absolutely horrified, covering her mouth with her hands, clearly not knowing what to do. The crowd went silent. That electric atmosphere that Becky Lynch creates wherever she goes turned into a funeral parlor in seconds. Becky was helped to the back, unable to use her left arm at all. She was cradling it against her body, and multiple fans posted on social media that she was visibly crying as she walked through the curtain. This is the man we're talking about. The woman who wrestled with a broken nose and a concussion. If she was crying, you know this injury is serious. WWE immediately shut down all photography and video recording of the incident, which tells you everything you need to know about how bad this is. They're in full damage control mode. Quick question for the comments: have you ever attended a live event where a wrestler got legitimately injured? Tell us your experience below. Within hours of the incident, Becky was rushed to a local medical facility for X-rays and an MRI. The results came back late last night, and according to sources close to the situation, the news is catastrophic. Becky Lynch has suffered a severe shoulder separation, a torn labrum, and significant rotator cuff damage. For those who don't understand the medical terminology, let me break this down. This is a career-altering injury. We're not talking about a few weeks on the shelf. We're talking about months of recovery, major surgery, extensive rehabilitation, and no guarantee that Becky will ever be the same in-ring performer again. Dr. Jeffrey Dugas, one of the leading orthopedic surgeons who specializes in sports injuries, stated in a previous interview about similar injuries that full recovery can take anywhere from 6 to 12 months. And that's for regular athletes. For professional wrestlers who take bumps and put constant strain on their bodies, we could be looking at Becky being out until late 2026. WWE's medical team examined Becky this morning, and their recommendation was immediate surgery followed by complete rest. There's no way around it. Becky cannot defend her championship. She cannot compete. She cannot even take a bump without risking permanent damage that could end her career forever. The official announcement came just 2 hours ago through WWE's corporate Twitter account. Becky Lynch has sustained a significant shoulder injury and will be required to relinquish the Women's World Championship effective immediately. WWE wishes Becky a full and speedy recovery. That's it. That's all the acknowledgement one of their biggest stars gets. No video package, no ceremony, just a cold, corporate tweet. But here's what's making my blood boil. This injury didn't happen in a vacuum. This is the result of months of WWE pushing Becky to her absolute limits. Let's look at the facts, people, because they tell a damning story. Since winning the Women's World Championship 4 months ago at SummerSlam, Becky Lynch has defended that title 17 times. 17. That's more than any other champion on the roster, male or female. She's been working live events, television tapings, premium live events, international tours. WWE has been running the man into the ground. And it's not just the quantity of matches, it's the quality and the risks involved. Becky has been in ladder matches, steel cage matches, street fights, and last woman standing matches. Her body has been taking punishment that would break most people. Just 3 weeks ago at a live event in Chicago, Becky took a nasty spill over the top rope that had people concerned about her ribs. Did WWE give her time off? No. They had her wrestling the very next night. 2 months ago, Becky tweeted about dealing with nagging injuries but said she was pushing through for the fans. That should have been a red flag for WWE management. When one of your top stars is publicly admitting they're hurt but still working, that's when you step in and say enough. You protect your investment. You protect your people. But WWE didn't do that. They saw Becky's loyalty, her work ethic, her willingness to sacrifice her body for the company, and they exploited it. They worked her until she literally broke. And now, we're all paying the price. Drop a comment and tell me, do you think WWE pushes their top stars too hard? Let's talk about what this means for Becky Lynch's legacy, because this is about so much more than just a title reign. Becky Lynch is, without exaggeration, one of the most important figures in WWE history. She's the woman who main event WrestleMania. She's the woman who made it cool to be a wrestling fan during the height of her the man persona. She's the woman who proved that female wrestlers could draw money and ratings just as well as their male counterparts. Becky's rise from mid-card obscurity to global superstar is the stuff of legend. Remember when she was just that Irish lass kicker playing second fiddle to Charlotte Flair? Remember when people said she'd never be more than a solid hand in the women's division? Becky proved everyone wrong through sheer force of will, charisma, and in-ring excellence. The image of Becky standing tall with a bloodied face after Nia Jax broke her nose is iconic. That moment at Survivor Series 2018 changed the trajectory of her career and the entire women's division. Becky took that horrible accident and turned it into the most memorable moment of that year. Her WrestleMania 35 main event victory over Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey was historic. Women had never closed WrestleMania before Becky made it happen. She carried the torch for every female wrestler who came before her and paved the way for everyone coming after her. And now, this injury threatens to tarnish that legacy. If Becky can't come back from this, if she can't return to the same level of performance, her career could end not with a triumphant retirement ceremony but with a whimper. That's absolutely heartbreaking for someone who has given everything to this business. Becky Lynch deserves better than this. She deserves to go out on her terms, with her head held high, not forced into retirement by an injury that could have been prevented if WWE had just given her adequate rest. The reaction from Becky's peers in the WWE locker room has been overwhelming. Within hours of the news breaking, social media was flooded with messages of support, love, and concern from wrestlers across the industry. Charlotte Flair, Becky's longtime rival and best friend, posted a heartfelt message on Instagram, "My heart is shattered. Becky, you're the toughest person I know, and I know you'll come back stronger than ever. The division won't be the same without you. Love you, sis." Charlotte rarely shows this kind of vulnerability on social media, which tells you how serious this situation is. Sasha Banks, now performing as Mercedes Moné in other promotions, tweeted, "Becky Lynch is the GOAT. Period. Wishing her the speediest recovery. The wrestling world needs the man." Even wrestlers outside of WWE are showing respect and love for Becky. Liv Morgan, who has had incredible matches with Becky over the years, posted, "Devastated doesn't even begin to cover it. Becky taught me so much about this business. Praying for you, champ." You can feel the genuine emotion in these messages. But the most powerful response came from none other than Rhea Ripley, who posted a lengthy statement on Twitter. "Becky Lynch is the reason I'm here today. Watching her rise to the top showed me that women with edge, with attitude, with something to prove could make it in this industry. She broke down doors so people like me could walk through them. WWE better take care of her, or there's going to be problems." That last line is significant. Rhea is essentially calling out WWE management for their handling of this situation. She's not alone either. Multiple wrestlers have been subtly criticizing WWE's grueling schedule in the wake of this injury. Even legends are weighing in. Mick Foley posted, "Becky Lynch is cut from the same cloth as the wrestlers I admired most, tough, resilient, and willing to sacrifice everything for the business. I pray this injury doesn't rob us of more Becky Lynch moments. Get well soon, man." Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. What happens to the Women's World Championship? Because Becky being forced to relinquish creates a massive problem for WWE's creative team. They've built the entire Raw Women's division around Becky Lynch for the past 4 months. Storylines, feuds, character development, it all revolved around the man. According to multiple reports, WWE is in emergency creative meetings as we speak, trying to figure out how to crown a new champion. The leading option appears to be a tournament, similar to what they did when Seth Rollins had to vacate the WWE Championship back in 2015 due to injury. An 8-woman tournament would make sense from a booking perspective. It gives multiple women an opportunity to shine, creates fresh matchups, and builds toward a big moment when the new champion is crowned. But here's the problem: no one can fill Becky's shoes. You can't just replace the man. She's irreplaceable. The rumored participants in this potential tournament include Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, Natalya, Lyra Valkyria, and Io Sky. That's a stacked field of talent, but are any of them ready to be the face of the women's division right now? That's a legitimate question. Rhea Ripley is the obvious choice. She's got the look, the presence, the in-ring ability, and the fan support. But Rhea has been dealing with her own storyline stuff, and suddenly pivoting her into the championship picture might feel rushed. Io Sky is criminally underutilized and deserves a major push, but WWE has shown time and time again that they don't fully commit to her. Giving her the title now would be great, but would they actually support her as champion? Liv Morgan has proven she can be a fighting champion and has incredible crowd connection, but she's been spinning her wheels in the mid-card for months. Can she recapture that magic she had during her previous title reign? This is WWE's chance to create a new star, but let's be real, they'll probably play it safe and give it to whoever is most convenient for their short-term plans. That's frustrating because this injury could have been an opportunity to rebuild the division properly. Let's talk money, because at the end of the day, WWE is a business, and Becky Lynch's injury is going to hit them where it hurts, their bottom line. Becky Lynch is a proven draw. Her merchandise sales are consistently in the top 3 across the entire company. Her segments draw ratings. Her matches get views. When Becky is advertised for a show, ticket sales spike. There's documented evidence of this. Last month, when Raw came to Newark and Becky was advertised, the arena sold out in hours. The week before, when she wasn't advertised, there were still tickets available on the day of the show. WWE has upcoming international tours scheduled for Europe and Australia, and Becky Lynch was supposed to be one of the main attractions. Now, without her, they're going to have to scramble to fill that void. Do you think fans who bought tickets specifically to see the man are going to be happy? Absolutely not. Then there's the WrestleMania factor. WrestleMania 41 is only 6 months away, and you know WWE had major plans for Becky. A WrestleMania without Becky Lynch is like a pizza without cheese. It's still technically pizza, but it's just not the same. The loss of merchandise revenue alone is staggering. Becky's demand shirts, hoodies, and accessories generate millions of dollars annually for WWE. That revenue stream just got cut off at the knees. Sure, WWE will push other merchandise, but nobody moves products like Becky Lynch. And let's not forget about sponsorships and partnerships. Becky has been the face of multiple WWE brand partnerships. She's appeared in mainstream media, talk shows, and promotional campaigns. Replacing her in those commitments is going to cost WWE both money and prestige. This injury doesn't just hurt Becky personally, it hurts WWE's entire business model. And that's partially their own fault for not protecting their asset. Can we talk about what we're losing here? Because the storylines and matches we won't get to see now are heartbreaking. WWE was building toward what looked like an epic WrestleMania season for Becky Lynch. The rumored plan was for Becky to face Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania in a champion versus champion match. The Man versus the Nightmare. Two of the most dominant, charismatic, and talented women in WWE history going one-on-one on the grandest stage. That match would have been an instant classic. The promos alone would have been legendary. Can you imagine the mind games, the verbal battles, the intensity? Now we'll never see it. Or at least not for a long time. And in wrestling, timing is everything. The momentum for that match was building perfectly, and now it's gone. There was also talk of Becky finally getting her singles match against Bianca Belair at a major premium live event. Those two had a brief feud years ago, but never got to really explore the full potential of their rivalry. Bianca has become an even bigger star since then, and revisiting that feud would have been money. What about the dream match with Io Sky? Becky has openly talked about wanting to work with Io in a long-form program. The technical wrestling, the storytelling possibilities, it would have been incredible. Or the potential of finally getting a proper feud with Charlotte Flair where both women are at the absolute peak of their powers. Their WrestleMania 35 story was rushed because Ronda Rousey was involved. A proper one-on-one feud between Becky and Charlotte for the title would have been perfect. All of these dream matches, all of these incredible moments, potentially gone because of one horrible injury that could have been prevented. It's absolutely maddening to think about what we've lost. Comment and tell me, what dream Becky Lynch match are you most sad about potentially never seeing? But here's what's really disturbing about this situation. Becky Lynch's injury is just the latest in a pattern of WWE overworking their talent. This isn't an isolated incident. This is systematic. In the past 2 years alone, we've seen numerous top stars go down with serious injuries. Drew McIntyre worked through multiple injuries before finally requiring surgery. Edge was forced into retirement, before his miraculous return, because of neck issues from overwork. Daniel Bryan's initial retirement was because WWE pushed him beyond his limits. The women's division has been hit particularly hard. Rhea Ripley missed time due to injury. Bayley has dealt with multiple setbacks. Asuka has been in and out with various ailments. Alexa Bliss has been dealing with undisclosed issues. The list goes on and on. WWE's touring schedule is brutal. Unlike other sports where athletes have off-seasons, WWE superstars work year-round. They're on the road 250 to 300 days a year. They're performing multiple times per week. Their bodies never get a chance to fully recover. And it's not just the physical toll, it's the mental and emotional exhaustion too. Constantly traveling, being away from family, maintaining peak physical condition, dealing with the pressure of performing in front of millions of people, it's overwhelming. WWE makes billions of dollars in revenue. They have a lucrative deal with Netflix. They're about to close a massive TV rights deal. They can afford to give their talent more time off. They can afford to rotate their roster more effectively. They choose not to because they're obsessed with maximizing short-term profits over long-term sustainability. And now Becky Lynch, one of their most loyal and dedicated performers, is paying the price for WWE's corporate greed. It's disgusting, it's unacceptable, and WWE should be ashamed. So what does recovery look like for Becky Lynch? Well, buckle up, because it's going to be a long and difficult journey. Based on the severity of her injuries, here's what Becky is facing. First, surgery. Becky will undergo a complex surgical procedure to repair the torn labrum and rotator cuff damage. This isn't a simple arthroscopic procedure, this is major surgery that will require months of healing. The surgery itself carries risks, infection, complications, possibility of further damage. It's serious. After surgery comes the immobilization phase. Becky will have her shoulder in a sling for at least 6 to 8 weeks. She won't be able to move it, won't be able to train, won't be able to do anything physical. For someone as active and driven as Becky Lynch, this period is going to be absolutely torture. Then comes physical therapy. This is where the real work begins. Becky will have to slowly, painfully rebuild her shoulder strength and mobility. She'll be doing exercises multiple times per day, working with therapists, pushing through pain and frustration. Recovery from this type of injury is not linear. There will be setbacks, plateaus, and moments where she questions if she'll ever be the same. The mental and emotional component of recovery is often harder than the physical aspect. Becky will have to watch Raw every week knowing she should be there. She'll see other women getting opportunities that should have been hers. She'll worry about whether fans will remember her, whether WWE will still value her when she returns, whether she's lost her spot on the card. And here's the brutal truth, even after all that work, all that pain, all that dedication to recovery, there's no guarantee Becky will be 100%. Shoulder injuries for wrestlers are particularly difficult because so much of what they do relies on shoulder strength and mobility. Landing from bumps, throwing strikes, lifting opponents, it all requires healthy shoulders. We've seen it before with other wrestlers. Some come back and they're never quite the same. Their timing is off, they're tentative, they can't do certain moves anymore. The last thing any of us want is to see Becky Lynch come back as a shell of her former self. The WWE Universe has rallied around Becky Lynch in an incredible show of support. Within hours of the announcement, #ThankYouBecky and #GetWellMan were trending worldwide on Twitter. Fans from every corner of the globe are sending their love, support, and well wishes. Fan art has been flooding social media. Talented artists creating beautiful tributes to Becky, commemorating her greatest moments, celebrating her impact on the industry. The creativity and love from the fan community is absolutely beautiful. Multiple fan groups have organized campaigns to send cards, letters, and gifts to Becky during her recovery. There's even a GoFundMe that some fans started to support Becky's medical expenses, though knowing WWE's resources, Becky probably doesn't need financial help. But the gesture is what matters. Fans want to do something to show their appreciation. At last night's SmackDown taping, the crowd broke out into spontaneous Becky chants during a completely unrelated segment. The wrestlers in the ring stopped and acknowledged it because the crowd was so loud. That's the impact Becky Lynch has. Even when she's not there, her presence is felt. Online forums and Reddit communities dedicated to WWE have been flooded with Becky appreciation posts. Fans sharing their favorite matches, their favorite promos, their favorite moments featuring the man. It's a beautiful reminder of how much Becky means to people. This outpouring of love has to mean something to Becky during this difficult time. Knowing that millions of fans around the world are thinking about her, praying for her, supporting her, that's powerful. That's the kind of energy that can fuel someone through the darkest days of recovery. Drop a comment telling Becky what she means to you. Let's flood this comments section with love and support for the man. So where do we go from here? What does the immediate future hold for WWE's women's division and for Becky Lynch personally? In the short term, WWE is going to announce their tournament to crown a new women's world champion. This will likely happen on next week's Raw. They'll try to make it feel important and special, but let's be honest, it's going to feel hollow knowing that the only reason this tournament exists is because Becky got hurt. We'll probably see a video package honoring Becky's title reign, showcasing her greatest moments as champion. WWE is good at producing these emotional tributes, but watching it is going to hurt. It's going to feel like a funeral for something that should still be alive. The women who compete in the tournament will have the unenviable task of trying to fill Becky's shoes. That's an impossible task. But hopefully, WWE gives them the time, resources, and creative support to at least try to create something meaningful. For Becky personally, she'll undergo surgery within the next week or two. Then begins the long road to recovery that we discussed earlier. The good news is that Becky Lynch is tough. If anyone can come back from this stronger than before, it's the man. She's proven time and time again that she's a fighter. WWE has a decision to make about how they handle Becky during her absence. Will they keep her on television in some capacity? Will she do interviews, make occasional appearances, stay connected to the audience? Or will she go completely off TV to focus on recovery? Both approaches have merit. And then there's the biggest question of all: when Becky does return, what's her story? Does she come back as a babyface fighting to reclaim what was taken from her? Does she return with a chip on her shoulder, angry at the world? The possibilities are endless. Look, I'm going to be real with you, I'm angry. I'm heartbroken. I'm frustrated. Becky Lynch being forced to relinquish the Women's World Championship because of an injury that could have been prevented is a travesty. WWE failed her. They failed us as fans. They failed the women's division. But as angry as I am at WWE, as much as I want to see them held accountable for their role in this injury, I also know that Becky Lynch's story is far from over. This is just a chapter, not the final page. The man will rise again. She will overcome this setback just like she's overcome every other obstacle in her career. Becky Lynch didn't become the man by giving up when things got tough. She became the man by fighting through adversity, by refusing to stay down, by proving everyone wrong. And she's going to do it again. Mark my words, when Becky Lynch returns to that ring, it's going to be one of the most emotional and powerful moments in WWE history. Until then, we need to support her. We need to let her know that the WWE Universe has her back just like she's had ours for all these years. We need to hold WWE accountable and demand that they do better by their talent. No more running people into the ground. No more prioritizing short-term profits over long-term health. This is Wrestling Newsletter, and I want your voice to be heard. Tell me in the comments, what's your message to Becky Lynch? What do you want to say to WWE management? And what should happen with the Women's World Championship? Smash that like button if you're Team Becky all the way. Subscribe to Wrestling Newsletter for all the latest updates on Becky's recovery and everything else happening in the world of professional wrestling. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single update. Share this video with every wrestling fan you know. Let's make WWE understand that Becky Lynch is irreplaceable and that the WWE Universe demands better. I'm out. Stay strong, Becky. The man will rise again. And remember, Wrestling Newsletter family, we're in this together. Until next time, keep fighting, keep supporting, and keep the spirit of the man alive.